Hello everybody and welcome back to the craft room with Tanya. I have another little clean and simple white on white card that I thought you would like. I have made this for a very dear friend of mine for her birthday. Now, I have no sentiment on this yet. Again, forgive the fingernails because I was in deep in dimensional paste and glue earlier today, so I'm still trying to get it out. I've used a nail brush and everything, but somebody told me not to worry about it, that they're artists' hands, and that we're all artists and crafters, and you don't need to worry about keeping your nails spotlessly clean. Well, as you can see, mine aren't. So anyway, let's get going. Okay, I've written a script today because I've so much to say. Nothing new there, huh? But I do want to get a few points across before I lose my train of thought. And with this head cold, there's a jolly good chance that I will lose my train of thought. So number one, most importantly, before we start, I have to say thank you so much to everybody that has taken the time to watch my videos. Not only taken the time to watch them, but a lot of you have taken the time to comment. And it's those comments really that keep me going and wanting to make more videos, because I've begun to feel like it's not so much me and the craft room on my own. It's more like a little group. And I really do genuinely mean that. I think of all of our subscribers as members of a lovely group. We are so supportive and kind, and you couldn't want to be in a nicer group as far as I'm concerned. I think it's really healthy. It's good for the mind and the mental health, general well-being, whatever you like to call it. And I am just chuffed to bits. I couldn't be happier. So whilst you're all happy enough to keep subscribing, keep thumbs upping and keep commenting, I'm happy enough to keep making them, because I have tons of ideas for cards. I never run out of ideas for cards. In fact, I wake up, or I don't go to sleep at night, because I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking to myself, I have to make a card for so-and-so. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. And then it spirals and snowballs from there. And I have 3 or 4 ideas, and I literally have to write them down. I have a little notebook at the side of the bed and a pencil, and I write them down so I don't forget. So one of the reasons too for thinking so much that this is a group, I live literally on the side of a mountain in the foothills of the Mournes. It's scenic. The scenery is absolutely stunning. It's breathtaking, actually. Out of my craft room, I literally look over a mountain. Like, who couldn't love that? However, having said that, it can be a little bit isolating, because there aren't craft groups near me. And I miss that. I miss having or being part of a group. So this has given me a little bit of that back. So as much as I'm doing videos for you to watch, you, unbeknownst, are giving me so much more back. And it's a symbiotic relationship. So whilst you still enjoy them, I'll still make them. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is I have been inspired, as I'm sure we all have, by other videos that I've watched, in particular some members on YouTube that I am a big fan of, and that I have watched as well. But I have to say, I take great pride in the fact that my cards are my ideas. I never ever set out to copy somebody else. So please be aware of that. If I have copied somebody, it'll be indirectly. It'll not be on purpose. And the reason for that is whenever I started in a Stamping Up group. A very, very dear friend of mine, when I moved to this part of the world in the end of 2020, after COVID restrictions had been lifted, said to me, come on and we'll go out and do lunch. So we were ladies what did lunch. The two of us went and had a bite to eat, and she said to me, you know, are you in any wee groups? Because she knows I'm a knitter and a crocheter, and everything else. And she said, have you ever tried cards? And I said, no, I haven't. She says, well, why don't you come along to my group? And it was, well, how many miles was it? 40 minutes? 35, 40 minutes to get there, which isn't that far really. And it was fantastic at the start. I loved the group. It was a Stamping Up group. But for me personally, it was like painting by numbers a little bit. Now, I don't mean to be derogatory in any one way. We all have our limitations and we all have varying degrees of imagination. But for me, I felt stifled by it because you were working to somebody else's remit and they had brought along the Blue Peter version, which you were to make, and then there were the dies to make it with, and there were the embellishments to make it with, and so on and so forth. So there wasn't a lot of room for me particularly to grow and just experiment and explore and have fun. And for me, that's what it's all about. That's what crafting particularly is all about. And I love creating my own ideas, which is why I'm going to finally move to the next thing that I have on my list. Actually, I've missed a bit, but I'll come back. I've asked you all if there's anything you want to know to get in touch with me and leave me a message. And I've said that if it's within my powers, I will do it for you. I will make that card. I will find out an answer to that question if I can. I can't always promise to do it or find out, but I promise you I will give it a jolly good go. Okay, so one of our lovely group asked me what my thought process was, how I came up with my cards. And it's usually one of a number of things, I have to say. It's kind of like how long is a piece of string. It's a hard one actually to answer, but I did give it some thought. And I think there's a couple of rules that I sort of go by when I'm making a card, but the thought process, the imagination that it takes to come up with an idea really depends on A, who I'm making it for, and B, did I see something that's inspired me? For this little card that I'm going to make for you today, this came about, there's a little bit of shimmer on it. I'll explain that in a mo. It shouldn't have been there, but nevertheless, this little card came about because I wanted to make it for a crafting friend of mine who is a lovely, lovely lady, and she is absolutely besotted with these little sausage dogs or dachshunds. She loves them. She also has a patio area just outside her house that her son has recently fixed up, if you like. He's a gardener, and he has kindly done a little bit of work for her. So I thought, if I'm making a card for her, I could use my 3D folder and get the wall. And you've seen this before. You've seen this. I've done this before with my Gummier Pan hanging vines. I think this die is called, but I call it Ivy. And I've used it, and you can see it's supposed to go up a wall. Hold on, I've cut it out there, so that's easier. It's supposed to grow, up your wall, but I kind of like using it as a little tree. It's like the branches are falling down. So it gives me that feel of something in the picture, in the middle ground, I suppose. And then because she's a king gardener and she's trying to get some flowers and creepers and trailers to grow up this wall to hide it, I thought, oh, I'll put a few wee bits and pieces in. I'll put the doggy in and let's have him chasing a butterfly. Now, as you can see, I've used what I've got. Hence the hanging vine is a tree, and this behind here is actually a tomato plant, and I cut the little tomatoes off as best I could, but there's other things in front of it, so it doesn't really matter. The butterfly is completely out of perspective in comparison to the little dog. Either that or global warming has forced our butterflies to grow somewhat, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The card's pretty anyway. It works in my view, and I've used what I've got. And that's the key. Use what you've got. Don't go to a great expense and buy things unnecessarily, because although, you know, it's like the willow pattern dies. One member of the group said, I can't get these. They don't make them anymore. And actually another member of the group said that she'd seen somewhere online where you could get them. Now, I have to be honest, I'm confused and I don't really know. I did Google it, and the only places I could find in the UK to get them were either on eBay or some other site, which I'm not sure if it was Etsy, don't quote me on that, but it was something along those lines. So there you go. But if you don't have those specific, that's the word I nearly didn't get out, specific dies, don't panic. There are other dies that you could use, like maybe a bonsai tree in a little pot, something like that, and you could still paint over it with the blue on the white and get a similar effect. So it's just use what you have and make them work for you. Simple as that, I hope. And hopefully that will help. So let's move on and make this little card. Because another lady had asked me to do more white on white. She said there was actually several ladies or gents, I'm never really sure, but I think they were ladies, asked me if I could make more white on white cards. And of course we aim to please, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. All right, where did I put my little spritzing bottle? I have to fill this up. I'm going to use a Tim Holtz 3D Sizzix embossing folder. Surprise, surprise. I think I've nearly every one he ever made. This is a brick wall, as you can see. I've no idea what it's called, but I fancy that it's something along the line of bricks. So I don't think it'll be too hard to find. Now, I'm going to do my usual trick of spritz, 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 waft, 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 spritz, 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 waft, waft, waft. And there we go. And that's my background. Now, when I am making a card, that's actually a good point. I'll talk while I'm putting this through because I don't want it to dry out in the process. When I'm making a card, there are usually, if I'm doing something like this, 3 points that I like to think about, and that's background, and then middle ground, and then foreground. And that's the general rule of thumb that I use. Now, isn't that gorgeous? Look at the detail on the cement, even down to the little marks, you know, that have been damaged. Or I love this die. I think this is a cracking die. So that's my background. What sets everything out and shouts out from the very back. And a background to me is every bit as important as what goes in front of it, if not more so, in my mind anyway. So that's my background. Now, oopsie daisy, I do apologise. I have a little frame. Where did I put the pencil? Oh, where did I put my pencil? There it is. Sorry, it's stuck in here. All right. Now, what I want to think of is where I'm placing everything. So to start with, I do like this bit here. So I don't want to hide too much of that bit of the wall. So I'm going to think about where my stuff is going to go. You know, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide a fair bit of it, but there's nothing I can do about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very gently mark with pencil in a few places where my frame is going to go. There. Oops, I've got that on. I thought I got a little bit of pencil somewhere there, but I can't see it now. Okay, if I can't see it, then it's not a major issue. So I've just marked out roughly where I'm going to be working. Now let's get stuck in. I think you've seen me do this before. In fact, I know you have, with the little watering can white on white. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking off the excess that I'm not going to need. And this is going to be my hangy downy branch, which is going to go about here. And this one is going to be my little branch that sweeps across like that. Now, I think that's right. Let me just check. perfect. Okay, so let's get stuck in and get those down. All of the dies I'm using today are Gummiapan. This is Gummiapan Hanging Vines, I think it's called. This is Gummiapan Flower Bed. I'm not sure what these are called, but again, they're Gummiapan. I think this is a rose. I'm not sure what that is. It might be a cornflower. And this is the little dog and the little butterfly, both Gummiapan. Now, there we go. And this is tomato vine or a tomato plant or something like that. So all I'm going to do is very carefully cut off a few of these little tomatoes, because it could be anything, but I don't want all of them. I don't want anybody thinking, what's a tomato plant doing in the middle of her bed? And this particular person that I was making this card for knows her plants extremely well. So I want to make her think twice before she barges and says, you stick a tomato plant in the middle of the shrub border. And the same woman would, trust me, she's fantastic. Love her to bits. Right, there we go. Okay, just set those over to the side. Now what I want to do is I want this coming up to sort of be look like it's maybe some sort of a climber or a tall architectural shrub. I'm then going to have these little jobbies floating about here across it, something like that. Oops. And then I'm going to have my little flowers at the bottom. Do you see? Isn't that pretty? Right, we'll try and remember that and get them down. Let's start with this little rascal now. Excuse me, I do apologize. Right, I'm going to use a little bit of my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and I put tiny drops of this on the wider leaves where I can. It doesn't actually matter if every one of them is glued or not. And then I'm just going to take the glue down the branch a little bit. The whole thing doesn't have to be stuck down. Excuse me sniffing, I do apologise. This head cold is dragging on a bit, I'm afraid. Now I'm just taking the excess glue off that because I don't want too much. And I'm going to use my frame where this is going to be coming down like, oops, like that. Now I'm just going to use this to push it down, because you do have to sort of work with it a little bit, because it is such an intense 3D folder. Now where's my other mark? I need to get this right, so I need to know where this is going. So I'm just going to pop this back into play for a minute. Yeah, so I want that roughly about there falling. Okay, right, okay, that's fine. I have a good idea of where I'm putting that, so let's get a little bit of glue along those branches first. Doesn't really matter which order you do it in, it's entirely up to you. And then a few dots. Oh, that was a bit much, but again, we'll take that off. Don't panic. No need to worry too much. Put the top back on. There's the top there. Right. And just stop them from drying out. And again, I'm just going to dab that on a little bit of paper to take the excess glue off before I put it anywhere near my card. Now let me just, where are you going? There. So I want this, right, coming across. Right, let's see. Like, whoops. So, oh, it's stuck to the tweezers, a little monkey. Right, there we go. It's doing its own thing. And again, I'm just going to press that down a little bit with the edge, just to get it that to tack. Right, get rid of this glue. Now, let that dry a second while I clean up a little bit. Somebody asked me, they said they heard me clicking a box in the background. I keep my wipes, I keep a little bit of wipe. I keep a thing at the bottom. And this is a Novo, I can't get my words out, a Nuvo sort of chamois, but I keep it at the bottom. I have a little bit of surgical spirit over it, and then I keep my wipes inside that. And the reason I do that is it keeps the moisture in them much better, so you don't have to worry too much about them drying out, and that means that they last a lot longer, which is obviously better for the environment. I do always use biodegradable, but I still, if you can prevent yourself from using anything like that too much, well, isn't it? It's a good thing, I think. Now, what I want to do next is I want to give some of my little flowers a little bit of dimension. Actually, no, I don't. Do I? Yeah. And then I'll stick them all down. I'm going to pop him. Actually, I'm going to just pop him down because I know where I want him to go. I always call them hymns, don't I? What? I don't know what that says about me at all. Right, there we go. Would I get my piece of paper back that I was taking the excess off with? Where's my tweezers? Here we go. And I'm just going to do the same thing. And then pop that up a hair from where I need it to be, but not hiding. I don't want it to hide that whole bit of wall, so I'll pop it there like that. Now, you see how we need to push him down to get him to stick, because he needs to really be sticking to these little ridges, or she, whichever it. There we go. There we go. That's better. That'll stick nicely. Right, this one doesn't matter if a wee leaf lifts up. Now this is our middle ground that we're doing now. We've done our background with our embossing folder. This is our middle ground. So what I want to do is give a little bit of dimension to these little jobbies. And I use my little kit that I've shown you before with my little, I think these are quilling tools, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just want to give it a little bit of dimension. Can you all see that? I think you can. I want to give a little bit of dimension behind the flowers, like this. And then what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm so sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of foam tape, tiny piece of foam tape, and put that, it's stuck to me, in there to keep that dimension when I put it onto the card. So that's one. Let's do the other. Tiny little bit. Don't need an awful lot. It's just to keep that dimension when we put it on to our card. And now I'm going to go ahead and take I'm going to go ahead and try to take that, there it's coming now, a bit of tape off. There we go. Finally. And here's my other one. Come on. That one came off a little bit easier, didn't it? Oh, I took the whole flower with it. Poor little rose. Right, there we go. No, they're fine. Now, next, to give these little titchy tiny flowers in the Gummy Pan flower bed die a little bit of dimension, I'm going to use one of the smaller bobble ends, and I'm just going to push down into my mat to make them sit out a little bit. Do you see that? Don't be afraid to get a little bit aggressive with them. Do you see how it brings those petals forward? Okay, that's it. That's a little bit of dimension. Now, because we're still in the middle ground, I suppose, but these are coming closer to foreground. Now, keep them over this side to glue them. Turn them the right way up, Tanya. And we'll do these little, this is my Zig 2-way glue. And I'm just giving them a little tiny bit now. I think this is my rose, it is. So I want it coming in, but not hiding my whole wall like that. And there we go. And there he has kept, or she has kept that bit of dimension. Now, did I do this one already? Oh, let's do it again to be safe. I think I have because it's very tacky, but I've probably rubbed half of it off there. So here we go. Now, I want this one going, let me think. Yeah, I want this one going sort of that way. There we go. There we go. That just helps position it. Can you see? And yet they've still kept that little bit of roundedness. It's not as pronounced with the wall as it could be because of the cracks and the crannies in the wall, those ridges and cement, you know, make everything sort of sit out. But then our little flower bed is going to go here across. I think it's there. Now let me just check that with the frame. Oh, that's so good. I'm really, really pleased with that. And actually lifted up to here. So I'm going to use my Nuvo Precision, Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And I'm just putting a tiny, tiny dot, like almost like a glue dot on the back of those little flowers. I don't want to glue the petals down at all. In fact, oops. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Somebody told me to stop apologizing for coughing and such like. There, I think that's where I want that. Now, before I stick that down too firmly, I want to bring that down a hair to there, I think. Again, before it adheres. Yep, that's perfect. Right, so then we'll stick it down, and what I'm going to do, where did I put my, oh, here she is. I'm just going to use my pokey tool to force these, what would have been, you know, the little dots of glue down so that they can stick to whatever's behind them, and then the rest of it can sit up. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Now, before I do too much more, I'm going to clean the glue off this again. And there's a good reason for that, because the very first one that I made earlier, I had to put a bit of, what do you call it, crystal glaze on. Can you see the shimmer? I had to put a little bit of crystal glaze because I got glue all over the card. I think I've managed to do this one without. Yep, I have. I still have a tiny bit of twinkle on it, but that's because there's twinkle everywhere here at the minute. So what I'm going to do, it's still sticky, I'm going to put the frame on with a little bit of foam tape. Hopefully, I need to hurry up. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to run this round quickly as I can, like that. Don't panic too much. You don't need to be too precise with this. There are ways and means, right? Run it round. I always do the inside of the frame first and then work my way out. There we go. Fabulous. Now, the same with the outside. Now that's too thick up there, so what I'll do is I'll put that away and I use my 5mm. Where's the end? And I'll go round it with my 5mm. Now while I'm doing this, I want to reiterate my thanks to absolutely everybody within our group, our little craft group, that has been kind enough to subscribe. And if you subscribe, you do get to see the videos will automatically come up, and it should highlight it to you that the videos are on your YouTube, whatever page, I think is the word I'm looking for. So please, if you wish to get more videos, do subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. That way I get a general idea of what the group as a whole likes to see, as every bit as much as, you know, some people will say, I would love it if you would make another one, or can you show me, or whatever. So the two combined give me an idea. Oh, please, come on, what direction you would like me to go in, which is really, really helpful. And I have tons and tons, and I've never run short of inspiration or ideas. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's trying to keep hold of them all is my problem. So there we go. Now, obviously our frame is part of our foreground. No, sorry, what I'm doing now is I'm just running my glue stick around. Let me make sure I've got everything around the whole of this foam tape. And if you've been watching, you will know that that is so that I can prevent the foam tape getting too much patches, whoops, upside down, until I've made sure that I've positioned it properly. Now there we go, there's the pencil marks. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's something on that. What is it? Just a wee hair. That's okay. Now, I'm just going to brief very quickly. I want to give that another clean. Turn that upside down, because there is a little bit of glue there. And the last thing I want to do is get that on the front of my card. It's worth always giving your workspace a little clean. It takes a couple of seconds, and it means that you don't ruin all that hard work, I suppose. Now, this is just a little bit of tape that I'm putting on to make sure I get a purchase at the back. A good idea if I put it up the right way around. Now, last but not least, just make sure we get this straight. Sorry, I need to pull this towards me because I'm headbutting the camera. Nope, that's not right. That's not right. Lift it up again. Sorry about that. You see, I can't help apologising. I remember going to a training course once. I had to go with work. I was told that I needed, it was in England, this training course was in Manchester. Lovely, lovely place, lovely people. Manchester in England, that is. And I've got a tiny bit of glue there, so I've got a tiny bit on my finger as well, so I'm just trying to get that off and then give it a little clean with something. This is white. This is in one of the hubby's old handkerchiefs, and then I know it's nice and clean. I put it through a wash. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Just in its own right. You could leave it at that, you know. You really could. You've a little bit of foreground here, you've got your middle ground, and you've got your background. But if you want to see the little doggy on, I think this would be enough, you know, with just the butterfly. I might just leave it at that today. The doggy's easy. I'll show you how I made him. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting a tiny little bit of glue on the back of the butterfly with my Nouveau Deluxe. And the reason I'm doing that is it's instead of using a glue dot. Now let me see, have I got glue on that yet? No. Good. I just want to position him. Yeah, I think there. Yeah, as if he's heading out of the flowers. Because if we do put the doggy on, I want to make it look as if he's frightened him out of the flowers. And then I'm not a great one for embellishments, I must say. I like my cards clean and simple, but I know just to lift the white on white a tiny bit, I'm just going to put the one little pearl in there. And that's it. Isn't that lovely? Now, if I was going to do the doggy, he would be off frame like that, the same as this one. And all I did was stack 2 little doggies together to start with. There we go. And there's some on his tail and his little legs. So we stack 2 little doggies. Get his tail on. And there we go. That's 1. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And then I'm doing it again, aren't I? Yeah. So this course in Manchester, the chap that his tails come apart. The chap that was running it said, "You really have to stop apologising for your existence." And I thought, oh flip, I didn't know I did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those feet and legs off that I no longer, that would be in the background, to give my little doggy a bit of dimension, to make him look like he's coming towards the viewer. Yeah. The tail, no, the tail wouldn't be behind him, sure it wouldn't. Right, so, yeah, that's him. So, do everything here, like this. A wee bit on the tail, and there we go. So that's that bit. There we have him. This is, I think I did say this is another gummy panda. So to finish the story for a change, do you see how he's coming towards you already with, you know, that little bit of dimension? Isn't that cute? Right, I'll get that positioned correctly. And now all I want to come into the near ground is his ear. All right, so this guy, this lovely chap that was teaching us, he was quite, I felt he was quite forceful chap, but I had to be honest, when I went to at first I was a little bit nervous of him, but he was lovely, as it turned out. Absolutely no need to be nervous. He was lovely, and I said, I can't help it. I apologise for absolutely everything. And another gent that was there that sold bits and pieces, he was a sales rep, and he sold bits and pieces into Northern Ireland and the south of Ireland. He says, it's a trade in Ireland. He said, everybody apologises for everything. Sorry is used like excuse me, or as well as forgive me. You know, it wasn't just... so there you go. I just brought that to mind. Now, what I want to do is if I'm going to stick this down, I think I probably will to finish it. I want to put a little bit of foam tape on Doggy. He looks like he's jumping up to catch this little butterfly. And I need to put, from his body and head, I need to put a little bit of foam tape on, just to lift that up and balance my dog. Otherwise, he's going to go sort of wonky. I hope you like that. A bit of expression there. I wonder, well, that's perfect. Good. Well done, me. It's a pleasant change to get something spot on like that. That's quite... Now, can you... No, you can't see that, right? And I just want to give in here a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit with the... Oh, I've got a hair on my 5mm. Need to clean that bit up. Just want a titchy, tiny bit without the hair. There we go, hair's away. On his neck there, do you see that? Now, and then we'll take the adhesive strip, hopefully, off this. These wee titchy bits are quite hard to grasp. It's coming. Come on. Come on. There we go. Now, and then the rest of it is just a tad of glue, like this. And a little bit on his tail, not too much. Turn him round the right road. And where you have, oh, I've glue everywhere. Where you have the tape, you want to place the tape. When I get rid, there's another flaming hair. There we go. You just want them to balance prettily like that. And there we have this one. We didn't need to use the glaze on this one, thank goodness. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I don't put sentiments on my cards until they're good to go. I cut loads and loads of sentiments, and I have them in a box here. I also have some typed out from the computer, as you can see, which should be in the box, but oopsie daisy, sorry about that, I'm wrecking the craft room. Oh. So I have little drawers, and there's all my sentiments in there as well. So it means that I can get them out and look to see what I want to go where, but I know them off by heart, so I don't really need to. And I would put a wee happy birthday across here, or a wee thanks, or a hello, or hugs, or whatever I want to go for. But I tend to leave them off until I need them. And that way, your card could be thank you, it could be happy birthday, it could be a little hug. Oh, is that hair again? A little hug to cheer you up, or a little hello, or just to say, or whatever you want. It's basically a card for all occasions until you need to use it. It could even be a wee get well soon card, couldn't it? So there you go. There's the two of them. One with a little bit of crystal glaze and one without. But two very, very pretty white on white cards. Nice and easy and simple to make. Nothing too extravagant. And we used our dies to suit our purpose. We didn't go and buy a tree die for here. And we didn't go and buy a little shrub die for there. We used a tomato plant and a hanging ivy. And that's the joy of it. Use what you have. My butterfly is totally out of perspective with my little doggy, as are my flowers. But is anybody going to care? No, absolutely not. So have fun and enjoy them and use what you have. Okay, thank you so much once again. Please, if you liked the video, don't forget to give me the good old thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would appreciate that very much, because it does help me to know that I am going in the right direction and doing the right thing. And it means that you're part of the group, and you won't miss any videos that are up and coming. And if anybody gives me any knowledge, I do pass it on with their permission. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all. Take care and have an absolutely lovely day. Happy crafting. Bye-bye now.